Okay, and with me I have Richard Zazycki on. You probably remember seeing him on the show. He's involved with the VITA program, which is a volunteer tax assistance. But we're not here to talk about that because the Sisters of Mercy have just celebrated their 150th anniversary, and we were not able to get them on the show before the events. I mean, the show, believe it or not, is booked way out, and right now I'm booking in, I think, February and March. So if you want to get on the show, give me a call or email me, and we'll try and get you in there. But right now, we're going to be talking about the Sisters of Mercy. Where did they originate?
Well, first of all, thanks for letting me come on the show. Appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to come in. The Sisters of Mercy were founded back in Dublin, Ireland, by a woman named Catherine McCauley, and she was the foundress of the order, and wasn't a sister for a very long period of time. And part of her thrust was the works of mercy, care for the poor, the sick, and the uneducated, and establishing the different foundations in Ireland and England. One of the other things that she wanted the sisters to do was to spread out across the world. And they came to the United States initially to Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, okay.
Pittsburgh is where they originally came from. Initially came over to help care for the wounded and sick in the Civil War.
Oh my goodness! So they're that. I mean,
that's
well,
how
150
it all
years.
Sure.
I mean, something's yeah.
So then from there, foundations were set up in New York City, and that's how the story connects with us here in the Capital Region.
Did you have an exhibition over at the Irish American?
Yes, the Irish Museum.
That's over in Albany.
In Albany, hosted a display of the history of the sisters, and that display is always available. If anyone is interested, they can contact me. We have those same display posters available in our administrative offices in Albany. But basically back in September of '63, four sisters took a steamboat ride at the request of the first Bishop of Albany, who was John McCluskey, and John Corey, who was the pastor of the church in Rensselaer, then known as Greenbush. So the sisters came up on the overnight ferry boat, 80 cents in their pocket, big bucks then, and settled in Rensselaer, formed a convent, an orphanage, set up some schools.
So they had an orphanage as well.
Yes.
I didn't realize that. Well, I mean, you heard about the orphanage, but I didn't know exactly where it was.
That's originally the setting and the established foundation that happened in Greenbush, which now is known as Rensselaer. And then from there progressed out far and wide through the Capital Region. And in 2006, the Albany region merged with the New England sisters in the New England states to form the Northeast Community.
Oh, okay.
So
I know you brought some photos, so we'll probably be seeing those as we go
So
on.
over the last 150 years, the sisters have left certainly an indelible impression, an imprint on the cities and towns of the Capital Region, as far north as North Creek, south to Catskill, out west to Oneonta, and certainly to the east in Grafton, Petersburg, and in the early days.
So that's a large community.
Yeah,
did they get involved with teaching and education?
They did. Education was one of their paramounts, as you well know, through the Sisters of St. Joseph, and the same for me when I was growing up. The sisters of most religious orders were involved in education, and certainly that was the case with the Sisters of Mercy. The other area that the sisters focused on was care of the sick.
Nursing.
And nursing, and certainly in Albany, the establishment of St. Peter's Hospital.
And now that's, I mean, they bought out the Glen, I mean, everywhere they.
Yeah, a huge comprehensive healthcare system.
Didn't they take over Northeast Health?
Right, at Seton, Northeast Health, parts of the Eddy, all of the Eddy program, Sunnyview here in Schenectady. So it's now called St. Peter's Healthcare Partners, and it's a huge group.
Little did they know what was going to happen.
But many of the sisters worked in education. They started, set up, or participated in the leading of elementary schools and teaching at elementary schools and the high schools on both sides of the Hudson River. Thousands and thousands of our baby boomers and continuing beyond our formal education have been trained and educated by Sisters of Mercy. One of the other things that happened was the establishment of Maria College. Maria College
I had two daughters graduated.
Well,
from
that's where I went to college too.
Yeah.
And Maria College was initially established as a school for the Sisters of Mercy, for their initial formation when they became, as they were becoming sisters, and is now celebrated a 50-year anniversary, and is growing to become a 4-year school now.
I saw that.
They're beginning to have a lot
Used to be like a junior college.
Right, 2-year program. But today the sisters continue that mercy, legacy, and promise. They operate soup kitchens for the hungry, do many of the works that Mike just spoke about, and as well as Larry spoke previously in the school district. So there's still, some are still involved in education, providing services to the poor with a focus on women and women with children. They provide hope, support to pregnant teens, tend to sick babies, helping new mother with parenting skills. A great source of continued strength and guidance.
Now,
that are
Circles
provided.
of Mercy, of course, were they the impetus for your organization now?
Correct. The Circles was founded in September of 1997, and even though the sisters aren't physically present anymore in Rensselaer, that mercy charism, that mercy, the works of mercy, the care of the poor, the sick, and uneducated continue through the programs and services that we have and provide at Circles of Mercy.
I wanted to mention too. I know that you mentioned about this book that you
Yes.
have, and it's still available. But it's stories from the sisters.
Wonderful, wonderful personal stories of that special connection that the sisters made with everyone that they encountered through their careers. And it's been my privilege not only to continue as the executive director at Circles, but they had asked me to participate and be the co-chair for their 150th anniversary. And this was one of the projects, besides the various events that we did through the seasons. We called it the Seasons of Mercy. We did a remembrance last November. Not many people realize this, but Holy Sepulchre Cemetery out on 3rd Avenue Extension coming out of Rensselaer is the final resting place for the Sisters of Mercy. There are over 350 sisters lying in graves there, and it's a beautiful sight.
It's a lot of hours of
a lot of toil,
donation to them.
a lot of toil and work in mercy, and it's a beautiful area, overlooks the city of Albany. It's just a spectacular vista there, but it's a fitting gesture and tribute to those that we build upon.
Are you saying that they're no longer here? Is that it?
Well, no, the sisters are still here in the
still
capital
here.
region, but they're not physically present in a convent in Rensselaer anymore.
Okay,
Right.
Well, I think now they've gone out into the community.
Well, in the community, we also have a mother house at 6 on New Scotland Avenue near between St. Peter's and Maria College is where the mother house is now.
It's right there. I know that.
So the sisters are still active, and the book is just an example of those intimate connections and remembrances that people have with their interactions with the sisters.
We'll never forget the nuns
that
taught us, right?
No, we never will. And then everything and kind of culminated last month, or 2 months ago rather, in the end of September. We had a beautiful liturgy with Bishop Hubbard at the cathedral, and it was interesting in that the bishop was able to weave in his homily the name of every sister that he's ever encountered, not only in his 50 years as a priest, but his over 30 years as bishop, both living and past.
Incredible.
It was just a remarkable tribute that the bishop did for the sisters.
It seems as though we have to acknowledge the amount of effort and energy and goodwill that went into our communities through the Sisters of Mercy. And if you want to learn more about some of their stories, I think the book might still be available. We're almost out of time here, so I want to make sure that people do realize you do have a website,
Yes,
Circles of Mercy.
mercy.org.
And you can go to their website, and you can also find out more about what he does, including taxes.
Yes, we'll be back for that.
We'll be back for
We'll
taxes.
be back during tax season.
Richard, always a pleasure to
Pleasure,
see you,
yeah.
and we do stand with our sisters.
We always
They're
stand with
doing
the
some-
sisters.
Doing some good stuff.
Thanks very
Good.
much. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
so much for being here.